Rep the South Side whenever you pay with your White Sox debit card from Wintrust Community Banks and score perks like free ATMs, no monthly fees, and a $300 opening bonus. Pay with pride every time with Wintrust, Chicago's bank.
Hey everybody, it's 𝗙𝗏. Welcome to the White Sox Podcast. It is brought to you, as always, by our great friends at Wintrust, Chicago's bank. Show your team pride with a White Sox debit card. Get yours at wintrust.com/Sox. Member FDIC, EHL lender. So at a time when pitchers are throwing harder and harder than ever, the White Sox have a prospect who had the second lowest ERA in all of the minor leagues this past season, 1.68. And he throws between 89 and 92 miles per hour. I'm talking about Shane Murphy, a 6'5" left-handed starter who is a throwback to another era, and yes, is a mystery man inside the White Sox organization. His AA manager, 𝗻𝗁𝗃 came on the podcast back in September, and he compared him to Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. In 110 innings in AA, he had by far the lowest ERA in the Southern League. It was 1.38. The next closest was 2.61. And he had the lowest whip of any pitcher in the minor leagues. So who is Shane Murphy? How did he have one of the best seasons in all of the minor leagues? Why is he not even listed among the Sox top 30 prospects? And most importantly, can his stuff succeed in the major leagues? Shane joins me on the podcast to talk about his pitching arsenal, his journey, his future, and a whole lot more. We go deep into the weeds on his career and how he pitches and who he would like to model his game after in the major leagues. This is a very intriguing pitching prospect for the White Sox, Shane Murphy, the mystery man. Here we go. All right, joining me on the podcast, it's Shane Murphy. Thanks for being here, Shane. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
All right, so AA season, I'm hyper-focused, obviously, on the White Sox, but I'm watching all the stuff that's going on in the minor leagues, and there were some very prominent, high-profile arms in Birmingham, and Hagen Smith and Noah Schultz. But as the season was going on, I kept being very, very intrigued and interested in you and what you were doing.
Thank you.
You had just such a great season. Where did this come from? How did it happen? Why were you so successful this year?
I think a lot of things. I think mainly just showing up to work every day, trying to get better, taking it one day at a time. Cliche answer, but it's really what I think it boils down to. Just trying to show up to work, even coming into spring training, understanding, not trying to look ahead, but I knew I was on the fence of AA high, where I was going to start the year at, and I was really focused on doing everything I could and putting one foot forward to try to just put that aside, and that mentality, you can get trapped in it sometimes. So try to just focus on taking it one day. And that's where I really adopted that mindset. And from there, just tried to get better, focus on catch play and be intentful. And then momentum's a real thing. I felt like I gained momentum early on in high A. And then my first two outings in AA, I was comfortable, familiar faces. I was with 𝗵𝗀𝗶𝗹 last year, and kind of just found a quick stride. And then as the season progressed, tinkering with pitches, adding a cutter was huge, mixing in a sinker. And I just tried riding the momentum, sticking to the process, sticking to the routine, and figuring out who I am and having fun.
Well, I had Barron's manager, 𝗻𝗁𝗃, on the podcast in September, and he said, I asked him about you, and he said that you pitch like Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine.
That's cool. That's a real compliment.
Like but because they were not hard throwers. They had incredible command. Do you connect with that?
For sure. I look at a lot of guys. Obviously those two jump off the sheet. A Cliff Lee, Hyun-Jin Ryu, just a few names off the top of my head that I really liked watching growing up. Big fan of 𝗁cie𝗰𝗶𝗹. Like he's a guy like I watched. I was like, I see myself in this guy, and he gets guys out. Stuff wise, command wise, pitch ability. But yeah, I understand my game. I've always had an innate ability to command the ball, and I've always taken pride in that. When even in high school coming up, guys always were throwing harder, and it was like I'm still finding a way to get hitters out by changing speeds and putting the ball where it needs to be thrown and understanding what the hitter's trying to do. So I definitely take pride in that and understand that's my game, and I need to be sharp on the mound. And stuff is huge because it allows for more mistakes and errors and getting away with it. But I also know if I make a mistake, if I minimize my mistakes to a drastic amount compared to everyone else, it kind of closes that gap. So I just think being locked in every pitch and sticking with my mechanics and cues and trying to just go out there and compete.
Your velocity, where does it range from?
Uh, First 5 innings, it's going to be 90, 91, touch of two. And I've pitched a lot into the sixth and seventh, which is a great thing. And that's where you'll see a lot of 89, sinkers will be 88s, cutters will be 87. But anywhere from that range, 90 miles per hour is what I tell everyone. So, and honestly, it's all the same. 89, 91 in this day and age is the same, other than the tens place looks a little better on the scoreboard.
Well, you definitely are old school. You are harking back to a different era. Are you trying? Do you want to throw the ball harder, or do you want to kind of just stick with what you're doing?
I mean, you're always looking for improvement. I think weight room stuff, mechanic stuff, there's definitely things that could be done. It's been a work in progress for 3 years, development wise. I think we've taken big strides. There's definitely, I feel like I could reach back and get a two. Maybe if I was out of the bullpen, I could get a three or four. But like at the same time, when I have to reach back for that over a course of a 6 inning game or turning the lineup over twice, am I losing command because of that? And like a give and take type things, like what I can reach back for versus what I can comfortably pitch at, knowing my command's going to be where it needs to be, which is a 70% strike clip throughout a game, and that helps me turn the lineup over 2 times and go from there. So it's give and take. I think there's more in the tank. Um, it's just kind of that finding that fine balance of knowing who I am as a pitcher, not trying to lose that, while tinkering with stuff and being in the mechanic side of it, the lab, and understanding where I could maybe gain a tick or two as well.
Well, we are in an era of velocity, high
No
velocity. I mean, I can't believe what is happening to the game. I'm not sure it's actually good.
Yeah,
I think there's just too much velocity, and then I see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're a unicorn in this game right now?
Yeah, that's funny you use that word because I use that word about guys all the time, just off of pure talent. Like these guys are unicorns. Like the way they move, what they do. Obviously, we're at the highest. Obviously, the big league is the highest level of our game, but still, where we're at, like we're in a top percentage,
Yeah.
and everyone's trying to make it to the big leagues. So like the talent is absurd, but yes and no. I think just because of what the game brings in, scouting, what people look for, what quote unquote it takes to get to this level, you have to throw 90 to get a Division I scholarship, 90 plus with second offerings to get drafted. So in terms of looking around, obviously left-handed's different. I have that going for me. I see more 89 to 93s in the game, and I look around and it feels like 70-80% of them are lefties. So I understand then on that aspect, I have that going for me, and that's where I kind of fit in. But definitely a unicorn. I mean, every game, it's like it's shocking, especially in the minor league system. You play 6 game series, right? So like you see one guy on each staff, maybe two if they're starters that are like sub 92 guys or 90, or they're throwing from down here or doing some other unicorn stuff. So for sure, I'm an outlier, but that's cool. I mean, I'm just trying to get outs just like everyone else is when they toe the rubber.
Yeah. What are you learning about sequencing? Because that's a big part of what you do. And how many pitches do you actually have in your arsenal?
I'd say I have 5 pitches with the ability to take 2 or 3 of them and manipulate them into their own pitch. Even though in my mind it's the same pitch, I'm just changing the speed on it. So like my curveball will get tagged as a sweeper just because it'll catch more horizontal break. But really in my mind, I'm just changing the speed. I'm throwing one at 79 and I'm trying to throw one even slower at 71, 72. So adding, subtracting. Um, but I'd say sinker, cutter, four seam, changeup, curveball are like my predominant pitches, and then I can manipulate a breaking ball if I want it to be a slider. I'll throw a slider, a true slider too, but I can manipulate my curveball shape, whether it's speed or shape. I feel like I can turn that pitch into three pitches in its own just based on the hitter and what I've seen. So it's just feel for the ball, and then in the sequencing, it's like a lot of pride in scouting reports. I take a lot of pride in watching a ton of baseball my whole life growing up. It was we come home from school and we watch me and my older brother watch baseball with my dad, and I've always believed like you want to be great, let's watch big leaguers. What do big leaguers do and how do they get guys out? And if they can do it up there, I could apply it to my high school level. And then from there, it's just I've stuck to the same art of pitching and move the ball around, change speeds, and try to just build off of that. But I'd say adding the seat or the sinker and cutter has really like opened up what I can do sequencing in terms of tunneling, getting both handed hitters out, and that's opened up a lot.
You mentioned Cliff Lee. I mean, when I would watch him pitch, I would just say, how is he doing this? I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, so when you're on the mound, you just seem to have, and you mentioned how much preparation you do, and that has a lot to do with it.
No doubt.
Do you feel like you can, you're not going to admit this, but I'll just say it. Do you feel like you can toy with hitters because there's just so many things that you can do. You're not just throwing high velocity and see if they can hit.
Yeah. I definitely say when you go back and watch game film and like in the moment, no, never. Like for me, that'd be ignorant and arrogant, and the game's all about humbling you in our game. So the second you think you have someone, you're gonna bounce a curveball and they're gonna hit a double down the line that sneaks inside the line by an inch, and that's baseball. So in the moment, no, but when you're watching game film or looking back on stuff, it's definitely like you see body language like, oh, I definitely had that guy in a blender. Or second time, third time through, you're like, I knew he was looking for this based on what I did earlier in the at bats, and I knew I froze him here or whatnot. So there's definitely times where you feel like that looking back at it, but in the moment, you're just reading swings, reading body language, and just making pitches.
Reading swings and reading body language. Can you elaborate on that? Because that is not in the scouting report. That is, I'm in a game right now. This is reality. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I'd say one, taken into the scoreboard, taking effect into the scoreboard. Well, there's a guy on second and there's no outs. Is this guy up there trying to do a pull side homer, which is what our game preaches, or is he trying to hit the ball the other way and move the runner over? And you can figure that out pretty quick just by what their take is or what their swing is on a heater, whether the front side goes early or the back early, late, what they're trying to do. Body language, you see guys just whether they have a good take. It's hard to explain. It's kind of just like feel, trust in your gut. But like I throw a good breaking ball down, he takes it. Was it a good take and he saw it out the hand? Or was he just not looking for that and he was kind of fooled and he wasn't looking for something out of that tunnel? So like you can understand people's takes based off the location of the pitch or how they took it. Like if I throw a 1-1, say I throw a 1-1 curveball and it was a really good curveball and he almost went for it. And in my mind, I'm like, that was a hitter's count. It was an even count. He was on go. And he almost went for it and he check swung it. In my mind, that's like, all right, if I have to go back to that later in the at bat, I'm confident in getting a swing or getting an action pitch. Maybe he didn't see it that well because he wanted to go for it. So there's a lot of things. And that also comes into, it's not scouting report, but watching hitters, watching film, seeing what they're trying to do. I could go down a rabbit hole of stuff, but I definitely dive deep into it and I love it.
So White Sox fans, if you Google the White Sox top 30 prospects, you're not going to see Shane Murphy's name on there, even though you were one of the best pitchers in all of minor league baseball last season.
Thank you.
Does that bother you that you're not in the top 30?
No, not really.
It would bother me, by the way. I would use that as motivation.
I do in that terms of fact. I always say, when I was drafted, the tweet put out was like the White Sox first random pick of the draft or whatever. It's like they labeled me as the mystery man, and ever since then, that's kind of been like my chip on my shoulder. Um, I use it as a chip, but like that stuff's out of my control. I leave that up to media, scouts, reporters. Like that's their job to rank, profile people, profile prospects. Obviously, the front office does it too because they have to gather intel on their own org. But I also think people in our org see me up hand every day and they know what they have in me. So in terms of all that other stuff, like I understand status, money, draft positioning, like what actually goes into those prospect rankings as well. So I just know when you take the field every week, you see nine guys on the other lineup, and rarely do you know if they're a prospect, what round they were taken in. You just know, oh, that dude's a good player. Oh, he's on a heater. He's seen it well. Or it's like, oh, this guy's struggling right now. Like, there's ways to get him out and attack him and be aggressive in how you're attacking him. So once you're in between the lines, you're on the mound and it's you versus trying to turn the lineup over and get out. So it's outside noise. It matters and it doesn't. To me, it doesn't. But obviously, I understand what it holds in terms of status and chances. And I know I'm a guy who's going to have to keep applying pressure year in, year out. 14th rounder, not a prospect. Don't have the high stuff. Don't have the prospect stuff. Like, I'm going to do it, try to keep doing it my way while getting better. And I just know I like getting hitters out and I like competing. So that's the main thing.
Yeah. If you say through 98 and you had a 5 ERA this past season, you'd probably be a top 30 prospect.
100%. I know I would be. And that's the game. That's minor league baseball. It's a fine line of development versus success. And end all be all, I think the purpose of minor leagues is to grab talent and try to develop them to add value to the big league team. And where they fit in that role is above my pay grade. So I just know I just got to keep trying to prove myself year in, year out, start in every week. So that's the mindset.
So how will your game fit in the major leagues? Do you feel there's a spot for you? You can succeed up there with your arsenal?
Yeah, 100%. I like to think of myself as like a professional outgetter, and I see guys, like I said, I watch a lot of ball, and you don't see it a lot. I tell even teammates, you don't see it a lot, but if you watch enough ball, there's a lot of guys who don't have outlandish stuff that are getting outs, and the outlandish stuff gets highlighted and posted on Twitter and Pitching Ninja and gets all the love, and as it should for good reason. It's cool to watch. It's fun talent, but there's plenty of guys I think doing what I'm doing, having success, and I can take from what they're doing and learn from it and apply to my game and run with it from there and turn it into my own. So even a guy like we had in our org when I was drafted, Tanner Banks, like seeing the success he's having, like it was took a longer road because of the profile and the stuff, but like he's been getting out to now for what 5+ years, 6 years. Like he's was pitching in the playoffs and getting Ohtani. I saw him, like watched his sequence, watch how he got guys out. Like the game's still about changing speeds and trying to keep a hitter off balance, and it's way easier to do that when they have to gear up for 96, no doubt. But there's still an art to it for sure. So I believe there's a role for me, whatever role I'm given or given a chance to grab, I'm going to do my best to run with it and build off from there.
Yeah, maybe the closest comp right now in the organization in the majors would be Martin Perez, right?
Yeah, 100%. I've watched Martin a lot. He actually came to Birmingham for a rehab outing, and I was glued to his hip for the whole week. And we talked a lot. I watched his pen. He actually ended up watching my bullpen. We broke down a lot of stuff. We watched a lot of film. He was awesome. He took care of us, and he definitely gave me some lessons in pitching, and class was in session and I was all ears. So it was fun to listen to. We have similar profile stuff, and he gets guys outs too. So it's command and changing speeds and pitching for sure.
Shane, you are a smart man. You are very intelligent because, I mean, I just love talking baseball with Martin Perez, and I'm just a sportscaster. You are somebody who, okay, I can learn something about my craft from him. I'm going to be, like you said, joined at the hip by him. That was a wise move by you to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. I've always seen that. Like I said, watching Martin, I watched him a lot. Growing up a Yankees fan, I watched him when he was with the Red Sox. And he was one of those guys where like just in high school, I'm like, oh, I could be this guy. Like he's doing it in the big leagues. I could be this. Like at the time in high school, I was 85, 87, like getting hitters out, pitching well. And I was like, let me grow into my body. Let's see where I'm at. Like if I can be 90, 92, like I can get guys out. I know I can. So he was a guy I gravitated to early as well. Um, but yeah, him being there, just learning about even just talking, like I remember asking him like, "Oh, how do you get this guy out?" Like big league hitters now, like we were just talking about scouting reports on big league hitters now, and just gaining knowledge and understanding their hitters have holes, and it's your job to execute pitches in those holes, but also setting pitches up to make those holes go from here to here because of what you've done on previous pitches. So finding room for error and knowing what pitches you can miss with, what your errors can be in terms of the strike zone, and so there's definitely classes in session for sure.
All right, so in 135 innings last season, it was mainly double A, but you were in triple A for a little bit, high A for a little bit. You only had 25 walks in 135 innings. How much do you hate walks?
I hate them a lot. Leadoff walks and 2-out walks will ruin a night. There's times for good walks. I'd say there's probably 3 walks off the top of my head where I intentionally walked the guy. So like that's a number I just keep in mind because I'm like 25, yeah, like where I lost the hitter, I didn't have it, but I know there's 3 off the top of my head that like not pitching around, but once I went 1-0 or once trying to make 2 perfect pitches early based on the situation, guy on third, guy on second and third, or open base, I was like, all right, we can be more careful and see if this guy will chase. And if he doesn't, that's fine, take your bag. But there's times for walks, but I definitely don't like giving free passes. Free 90 feet is the worst thing you can do on the baseball field in terms of run prevention. So yeah, I'm not a fan of walks.
All right, so you were the Southern League Pitcher of the Month in July, but you could have been the Pitcher of the Month in almost any month. Your ERA in May was 1.37, June 1.17, July when you won it 1.08. You had a real bad August, 1.44 ERA. I'm sure you were up nights over that one. What was the key to your success?
Was August the 𝗵𝗀 start? I think.
When you gave up, what, 3 runs?
Yeah, it was a bat. It could have, yeah. If it wasn't for good defense, it could have been 5 or 6, though. It was
okay. You didn't have it that day, right?
No, I didn't have it that day. Sorry, what was your original question?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because I just look at this to go a 4-month stretch in Double A, and every single month you had a 1 ERA. And, people might be thinking, well, you play at a pitcher's park at home in Birmingham, but, for the whole season, you had an ERA of 1.68 at home, 1.65 on the road. So, it wasn't because of just the parks that you were in. You had some good defense behind you as well. Maybe I'll ask you this question, and it is this. When you don't have your good stuff, and that's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you do to maintain keep the team in the game and limit damage?
Yeah, I think when you don't have your good stuff, for me, it's like Thursdays I'm not going to have my good stuff, but my command for me to have success in pitching this game a long time like that is non-negotiable. So say my stuff's not good, it's like, all right, we can still be aggressive in counts, try to force early contact, understand I have 7 guys behind me. And yeah, good hitters are going to hit balls hard, but they'll hit them right at guys, and they'll hit weak dribblers through holes too. That's baseball. So understand I can just attack the strike zone whether my stuff isn't sharp that day. It's at least still be the aggressor. And just compete. Understand like it's a gotta have it moment. I need to have a pitch. I've been grinding all day, or I don't have this pitch today. But take a deep breath, go back to a place where you're like, I know I can land this curveball on the back of the plate when I need to make a pitch. You've done it 100,000 times in your life, so just take a breath, fine tune your focus, and just understanding the compete level can take you there. Just trying to be relentless and just understanding like I don't have my stuff. It's a day you got to compete your tail off. How we compete our tail off, that's where it comes in different shapes and sizes, but mainly being an aggressor with the command, forcing stuff over the plate, forcing hitters to be actionable on pitches, and just try to let baseball be baseball.
So I think you actually said it yourself. You've considered yourself a mystery man, a mystery.
Yeah, that was no, I just remember when I was drafted, like the Southside Sox or someone, whoever posted was like the White Sox first draft pick that no one knows anyone about, like meet the mystery man, Shane Murphy. And like you click on the link and it was like he threw 5 innings at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and like it was 2 sentences and that was it. So I just remember like the day I was drafted, obviously life-changing moment. You dream about that. So it's like, all right, I guess I'm the mystery man. Like that's what they want. They gave me the label. I'll run with it and let's go from there.
Because I bring that up again because Shane, there's a mystery to you that I want to kind of get in with you, because you look on the internet and you talk to people, and you come from Chandler, Arizona, pitched in high school, and I do want to ask you about that school because you have some interesting lineage there.
Yeah.
But then you go to Chandler Gilbert Community College, right?
Yep.
And how many innings did you pitch there before you were drafted?
So I was originally at Grand Canyon University the fall, and then I transferred out of there 2020, COVID. And then 2021, I was at Chandler Gilbert. It was supposed to be my sophomore year, freshman COVID year, whatever. I blew out and had TJ my first game of the year. So then I didn't get surgery for like a month later just because surgeons were booked up. Obviously, I'm a junior college kid, like trying to find a surgeon, trying to get into a place. Spring training's going on. Like people are going down left and right, always in spring training to begin with. So like I ended up using the Arizona Diamondbacks team doctor, but I had to wait like a month and a half. So I ended up getting surgery like middle of March. And then that was all 2021. And then 2022, it was 14 months surgery to game. And like I pitched the last 2 weeks of our junior college season in 2022. And I got like 5 innings in. I like part of my TJ rehab. Like I opened and went 2 innings, and then I opened again and went 2 innings. And then I threw like a simulated game before playoffs for like 1 inning. And that was about it. So 5 innings. Yeah.
So you're in high school. I think you got drafted in like the 31st round by the Phillies. Is that what I saw?
Yeah. Yep.
But you decide, I'm going to go to, you start at Grand Canyon, then you're at Chandler Gilbert. You have Tommy John. And so the White Sox just draft you in 2022 in the 14th round after watching you for like 5 innings?
I think 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is the area scout. Great guy, great scout. Drafted a lineage of left-handed pitchers for us. He followed me in high school a lot. In high school, I was like 87, 88, but like really good numbers, pitched well. Like my curveball is really good. Like big guy. I was 6'4", 6'5", high school. Like projectability was there. So like took a stab on. I think he followed me a lot in high school. Phillies drafted me. Ended up going to school, but he followed me in high school. He followed my older brother, so I think he kind of knew my family. Just knew me. And then TJ rehab. I remember throwing a pen, and the scout who drafted me with the Phillies, I think, was out watching me just play catch or whatnot. And then our Chandler Gilbert coach reached out to 𝗵𝗂𝘃 because he did obviously area scouting, like familiars, like, hey, Murphy's getting healthy and like he looks pretty good coming off his TJ rehab. So like once our coaches saw that the Phillies were still following me, they reached out to a few other scouts and other schools, and ASU came and watched, and then I signed with ASU as well. So that's where I was planning on going out of community college. But I think just the few scouts, there was like 2 or 3 teams interested in me in high school. And then when I came back from TJ, they were the same 3 teams, like watching all my pens post TJ, watching my live BPs, like watching my whole progression. So I think I was super grateful that 𝗵𝗂𝘃 and that the White Sox took a chance on me. I wanted to sign so bad. I wanted to sign out of high school. It just didn't work out. Didn't really have interest in playing college ball. Older brother Patrick's been in pro ball out of high school, so all I've known was pro ball. So that was the dream ever since I could remember. So super grateful and happy to be doing this. But yeah, that's kind of how that whole story went down, which is when you hear it out loud, you saying it, it's like, yeah, I'm super grateful and lucky the way it turned out. And I guess I am the mystery man. It makes sense, but yeah.
You are. I mean, Yeah, you needed at least one person to believe in
Yep.
you,
hmm
and
That's
you took
that's all it takes.
that's all it takes, and you took I can't say the word I'll say you took a scenic route to get
Yeah.
to where it took. I mean, and a lot of like, wow, I can't imagine what it was like to be you during COVID. You basically went COVID, Tommy John surgery back to back with basically no home, right?
Yeah, 100%. I remember, yeah, I've lived with my parents. My brother just bought a house in Chandler, and I moved in with him because the younger brother wanted to move in. And I just remember going through that TJ rehab, going to school, going to community college, which honestly I didn't give crap about, and then doing that in the mornings. Well, I remember the one thing I did, I was like, this is the time where it's like all your friends from high school are at school playing baseball. You're back at home doing community college. Like I have my fiance who's doing undergrad at U of A, so like hanging out with her on the weekends because it's a 2 hour drive. But like middle of the week is like schedule TJ rehab early as possible, just to define some discipline and get your day going. And then TJ rehab was like from 6:30 to 9 a.m. every day, and then class from like 9 to noon, and then just go watch baseball practice for 4 hours, and then come home and just watch pro baseball. And I just remember, not that it was like I mean, it's lonely. Like it's a lonely feeling. Like I didn't play for two years. Like I'm watching these games, like trying to sequence, trying to keep the mind sharp, getting mental reps, and that kind of helped a lot. But it's like once you get out there, it's like, oh, I got to relearn how to do all this. Like I just spent 2 years not doing it. So for sure was an adjustment period.
Yeah, it also shows your ambition, right? Because
Yeah.
you it sounded like you didn't have a plan B, or you weren't
Yeah.
going to go down to plan B yet. It
No,
was A plus all the way.
no, I don't believe in plan Bs. Yeah, I didn't have a plan B. Like you said, I think, yeah, I don't believe in plan Bs, to put it that way. I think you're giving your plan A an out if you start planning for plan B. So yeah, that's kind of my mindset and how I am.
Yeah, and now so you get drafted by the White Sox, and you have this great season. And I mean, there are three lefties that were in that Birmingham rotation. Noah Schultz ended up getting moved up to Charlotte, but you, Schultz, Smith, that
It
is
was fun.
that that is a tasty trio of lefties who are very, very different pitchers, all three of you.
Yeah, I remember it was like my second week there because I was originally piggybacking GT out of the pen because GT was starting on like the 3 innings, and I was like GT's piggyback. And then I remember me and GT switched because obviously they moved into the pen, and like when we started, we went out three lefties in a row, and I was like, we were putting up good numbers. Like I was like, man, these. And then obviously you're facing teams multiple times. You're with them 6 days in a row, like sharing cages, passing by MVP, and it's just like you hear the other team like, man, y'all got lefties. Like then Vale came in the mix. We had some other guys. Like Riley was like the only righty. I remember Riley's like, man, like I'm the only righty on a staff. Like this is weird. And it's like we were rolling out three lefties in a row on a 5-man staff. So it was definitely fun, and I think tough for opposing lineups to navigate, especially there was two teams in our league that are left-handed predominant, and it was like going into that week, it was like as a staff, it was like we should be licking our chops. Like we expect to come out here and dominate this week for sure.
Yeah. And it's funny because I mean you got Schultz and Smith are high velocity guys, and then it's you, and you got all these different looks that you can in changing speeds and sequencing. That would be really tough to beat. You were not a part of the Barons championship team because you were, but you weren't there for the playoffs. Yeah. You were it got called up, but can you speak to just the winning culture that is down there in the minor leagues and the pitching talent? Yeah,
I think competitive and fun are the first two words that come to mind. Winning's fun, so that takes care of itself, but it's a lot easier to have fun even when you say you drop a game on a Tuesday. You can still keep it light and understand the boys competed, and that's what it takes throughout 142 or 162, just that type of culture. It's show up every day, ready to play the game. Like when it's 7 o'clock or when first pitch is thrown, like it's straight compete mode, and we're trying to win baseball games, and the rest will take care of itself. like I said, it's the fine line of development and success. I think culture is important, and the past 2 years I've seen major, major strides compared to my first year in the org, just on culture and winning players and guys playing the game hard and playing the game the appropriate way. Um, so I just think it's fun atmosphere. It's competitive as heck. Guys are competing every day in the clubhouse. Just a super competitive. At least in Birmingham, the competitiveness was through the charts and everything we did. Catch play, shagging BP, like clubhouse games, ping pong, cards, like some games were always being played. I just think it was a super competitive culture, and I think that just translates how you do anything. Um, Applies to everything. So it's just competitive culture and fun, and guys just work their tails off.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
So, as I said, you went to Hamilton High School in
Yep.
Chandler. Two people I want to ask you about. Well, your brother went there, right? Your brother pitched
Yeah.
in the major leagues.
Hmm.
You have Cody Bellinger,
Hmm.
and then 𝗵𝗶𝗹
Yeah.
who is arguably the best college player right now, a 20-year-old shortstop out of UCLA. The White Sox might end up with the number one pick in the draft. They've got like a 27% chance. What can you say about Rock, and what if he became a member of the White Sox?
This would be awesome. Rock was 4 years younger than me, maybe 5, but like he was always around. Like he played with our feeder team when I was a senior. His dad, I don't know if he still is, but a scout with the Reds. So like I got to know his dad a little bit through getting scouted. Just following him, like you always knew Rock was talented player, good player, and then Hamilton's a winning culture, and like a lot of guys go back. So like my first 2 years out of school, especially when I was at the community college, like I was going back to Hamilton a lot, just to watch games, watch obviously my teammates who are below me, and I think you could just see the baseball IQ is natural. The speed, his internal clock is off the charts. What he does with the glove is off the charts. And then just obviously, I saw him like the last time I saw him play like competitive. I want to say it was probably his sophomore year or junior year of high school. So like just seeing on video like the growth the bat's made. Obviously, he's filled into his body, like matured. Um, just the bat speed's there, the bat to ball, all of that's came along greatly. But like you could tell right away, like the hands, the skill, the internal clock, like the baseball mind is through the roof and advanced. So there's, I'm not surprised one bit by what he's done. Super happy for him. Great kid. Comes from a great family. Gotten to know the family really well the past 4 or 5 years. So he's a good person, great teammate. So that'd be super cool. We'd be lucky to have him. That's for sure. That would be really cool if he was. He should go one, two. Obviously, he has a season to play, whatnot. But money comes down to all that stuff, the logistics and business side of it. But he's definitely a top 5 talent, no questions asked. So hoping the best for him.
Yeah, I hate to throw the name out there, but when I watched him, I'm like, that's Bobby Witt.
Yeah,
is that what
I
you
can see that? That's a good comp. Bobby Witt is an unreal player. I saw Bobby Witt in high school, and then obviously I haven't seen him live since.
Yeah.
But I know Rock is definitely the complete player. The swing path, like in the box for sure, he has that swing path, the hands. It definitely looks similar to that. But I think Rock's glove is, man, it's up there with second to none. It's an elite glove for sure, an elite internal clock. So I think he's also his leadership tangibles, like some of the stuff you don't see on a scouting report, are through the roof as well. So he's definitely got it going for him.
All right. We'll see what happens. The lottery is going to be in December, so we'll see where the White Sox end up. But that's a guy that can be really interesting to watch. How close do you feel like you are to the major leagues?
I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm knocking on the door. Obviously, I think once you get to the jump between 3A and big leagues is astronomical. Just you see it all the time, guys who are studs, and then the jump to the big leagues is second to none.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you don't know till you're there, and then once you're there, you compete and you play baseball and try to simplify it and understand I'm going to get knocked down. Like, what do I have to do to get back up, and understand where I can learn and what the game's teaching me and how to adapt and just grow from there. But I definitely think I'm as close as I've ever been. I feel really confident in my ability to get people out. So it's just I'm confident I can be a big leaguer and be an impactful one. So from there on, it's just taking it day by day and knowing the game humbles you every chance it gets, and that's all right. You just got to keep learning from what the game gives and watch the game and learn from others and just try to stick to your process and find your routine and take it one day at a time.
Yeah, well, looking at you and how you talk and how you pitch, I just see a lot there. I see a lot of intangibles that help narrow the gap. There's the guys that have the stuff. Okay, you got stuff.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Yeah, that's where I'm at and where I felt like I've been at my whole baseball career is like, how can I find the upper edge? And I've always navigated to a baseball IQ, trying to find the one up on someone and reports and understanding hitters and just watching the game and trying to get as many mental reps as possible. And I think that's so key because like a starting pitcher, you're out there once every 5 days. So like the game can speed up on you every fifth day if you aren't fully prepared those 3-4 days. And it's like, man, like I just waited 4 days to have my day and I spent the one day to do my job. I let it sped up on me because I didn't take care of X, Y, and Z. And it's like those are just non-negotiables for me, like my own non-negotiables. So just taking a lot of pride in preparation and mental reps and watching the game, but being in the game, being a part of the game, even when you're not a part of the game.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to seeing you in spring training and where the next season takes you.
Thank you. I
appreciate you filling in the gaps on being the mystery man because you're not going to be so much a mystery anymore. But if it's going to be something you can use as motivation, go right ahead. You're the mystery man, at least for
Thanks. I appreciate it. There's plenty of ways to add a chip to the shoulder, and I'm always looking for them. And at the same time, I don't need them. I'm super internally motivated and understand what I've wanted to do my whole life is right there in front of me. So let's take it to the next gear. But that's funny. I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, as much as I love watching guys throw hard,
Me too. I do too. I love talent. Talent's awesome.
But I love pitchers. I like pitchers more than throwers. And you are not a thrower. You're pitching.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So
I like to think so too.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll see you in Arizona for spring training, which can it comes, sooner? I mean, I know the season ended, but I'm like ready to go again. Let's go.
I am too. It's like off season's weird. It's like that fine, give or take. Like October, November, it's like, football settle in. Like, let's recap what the season held for me, where I can get better. And then it's like holidays go by like that. So like it goes slow, but it goes fast. Like the first month and a half, you're like, it's off season, like recap the year, like give the body a break. Like everyone's body needs the break come this time of the month too. So like that part of it, you're like, ooh, season's over with. But at the same time, like mentally, and obviously the year I had, like momentum, it's like, I'm ready for it. But then once holidays hit, everything goes like that. And the next thing you know, it's the Super Bowl and you're showing up for physicals the next day.
Yeah. Well, hey, this has been a great chat. I've learned a lot about you and looking forward to next season and beyond. Shane Murphy here on the White Sox Podcast. Hawk Harrelson, take it away.
All right, Chuck, this edition of the White Sox Podcast is over.